we have picked up the most incredible car at such a cheap price, and it sits here just on my right. So let's get straight into it, and then we'll go into the details later. That's right, we've managed to pick up a Volkswagen Corrado G60, and if you don't know about this car, they're from the early 90s. I believe this is a 91. It's a G60, which means it's the 1.8 supercharged engine. You also find this in the Golf. I believe there's a Golf G60. The Corrados come in like 3 different forms. I think you got a regular Corrado, you got a VR6 Corrado, and then you got the G60 Corrado. Think the G60 is considered the rarest one. I've tried to have a look for others for sale. There's one for sale on Auto Trader. There's a couple for sale on Facebook, but there's not loads and loads of them. So how much did we get this for? I'm saying $2,000. The reason I say that is because we actually straight swapped this for the Mazda MX-5, which I paid $2,000 for, fixed it with, I think, about 150 quid, and we straight swapped it, and I believe this car has a very high value in comparison. But obviously there's a few issues, so let me talk about the issues that there are that I'm aware of from the previous owner. So the previous owner said to me, with this Corrado right here, the clutch is seized, so put your foot on the pedal and it's rock solid, you cannot push it down. Also, it does not start, so we don't know why. I'm told that it is an immobilizer issue. So the first things first is we're going to be getting rid of the immobilizer and seeing if it can start. But before we do that, we need to have a good look underneath it, because this car has sat for God knows how many years now. So let's have a look underneath and let's see how much work we really got to put into this car. So I've got my trusty light source out here. If we start in the engine bay, that looks a little bit moist. So there might be some sort of oil leak. Coming to here, we've got some rust, which is probably to be expected. And then up there, you can't see that. Let me get another torch so I can show you around a bit better. So up here, we have quite a significant amount of rust there, which, yeah, so we've got some stuff to find. That's part of the crash bar, that's not ideal. But we have got a general leak around here somewhere. And then coming down here, everything is looking a bit worse for wear, really. That's solid, but doesn't look great. Obviously those backing plates, they're not great. These look horrible. So we've got a bit of work cut out for us already. Everything seems fairly solid for the most part on the floor pans. Let's check the sills. Got a bit going there. That got a weird dent in it. So this offside sill looks solid. Oh wow. Okay. That is a hole. But on the upside, inside the hole, doesn't look too bad. That's incredible. But this offside sill, for the most part, looks very solid. So let's come to the back. It's got a new fuel filter. That rear beam's horrible. And bushes look horrible. Exhaust, it's got an aftermarket exhaust in it. That is incredible welding. Whoever did that. To be fair, it's not bad, but like, if it's gone to a shop for that, that's incredible. It's had a brake pipe made, but then the flexi is completely toast, so they need changing. Again, rear beam, it's not pretty, just looks solid. We're missing a tank strap, so we're going to need some tank straps. We've got a bit more rust here, doesn't look too bad. Rear crash bars, a bit rusty, but it seems to be solid. Again, backing plate is done, brake dust backing plate. Wheel arches look okay, it's still got the original lining in, so that's great. We come along here, that's not great there. The sill, oh, I've accidentally jacked up on it. Oh god. Okay, so the near side outer sill needs doing. Should we see if we can, wow. Look, there's even a hole there, look. You can see the light, but the inner sill doesn't look too bad, but that is horrendous. And there, should we get a hammer? Is there any holes here? Right, we've got no holes in this side of the floor. And then, oh, that ball joint is done for. So yeah, underneath we got a bit to do. Wow. Okay, so it definitely needs an outer sill. So, as you just saw, underneath here isn't great. It's not bad, but it's not great. We need near side sill, both front subframe and rear beam at bare minimum needs coming off to paint. Rear beam will need brushes. Obviously front end we're gonna need wishbones or rebrush them wishbones. We're gonna need lower ball joints, we're gonna need track rod ends, we're gonna need probably inner track rods, you might as well, they're cheap enough. Anti-roll bar links. Obviously there's a little bit of a coolant leak or some sort of leak on the engine. And then like, I'm gonna have to get the front bumper off and stuff to have a look at like what's rusted behind there, see what other parts we can get. A rear dust shield, backs, brake shield, dust shield, you know what I mean. They need doing. Brakes inevitably will need doing anyway, a couple of brake hoses from what I can see, and then just a little bit of welding, so we need that near side sill and both end caps, sill caps. That random hole in the driver's side floor, that's very strange, but the inner skin of the car looks oddly clean, so at least we're not having to do inner sill, middle sill and outer sill. We just need the outer sill at the moment. Obviously I haven't cut anything off it yet, so I won't be able to tell, but I'll have to have a look online to see if we can get replacement sills. And then there's that rear bit of the back. This bit here, I don't know if you can see, there's like a little towing thing. That on the back is gone. I think that's where it was rusty. The paintwork isn't great either. It looked a lot nicer when I saw the photos, but ultimately it's not too bad. But we need to see if we can get this thing started, because this thing doesn't start. So as you can see, I've just connected a battery because I don't have a current battery, but I also filled that up with coolant because, just in case we start it, and I've discovered something. We have a leak. I can't really see where from, but I just wanted to be safe just in case for some reason it goes in here and starts, but it does appear we have a leak from the thermostat housing. Can you see that right down there? You might not be able to see it right there. Can you see it? Yeah. So we've got a leak from the thermostat housing, which is fine. Not ideal, but it's fine. We'll have to. Or is it the pipe underneath it? No, it's definitely so the thermostat housing has a leak. That is not the end of the world, but we got a battery on it now, so let's go into the car and see what happens when we're trying to turn this key. So I've got to leave this door always slightly ajar because it doesn't open from the outside. But before anybody asks, yes, I did check for oil. It does have oil, it just doesn't have anything else. There we go. The key in the ignition. We have nothing on the key. Absolutely nothing on the key. At all. And is that for every key? Because I've got about 3 keys. That one doesn't turn it. But also you can see here, this light, which is for the immobilized system, is not illuminated. And then, key in the ignition. We don't even have hazards. We have literally nothing. So let's go back outside and have another look. Right, I know we were just in the car, but I had to clean up those terminals because I wasn't getting any good battery connection. But let's go in the car, and as you can see, or you can't see, we have life. How much life do we have though? So what we do know is we have an immobilizer down here. You see that flashing. We have some sort of key lock thing down here. No idea what it's for. The speedo says 89,000 miles, which I'm pretty sure that is wrong. But we're in the car now. The clutch pedal is hard as nails. Ignition on. And nothing. We've got nothing on the ignition. See? It did tell me that this key here, this one, unlocks this down here. And it used to work, so I'm going to do that and then let's try again. So I can confirm by turning that down there, I know it's blurry, makes no odds up here because we still have nothing on this key, not even a horn. So I think the best bet would be to get this cowling off. Is that's the immobilizer stick? Yeah. What about if I put that in there? It's made the light go steady. We still have nothing on the key. Absolutely nothing on the key. So I wonder what that's about. So yeah, we have an immobilizer issue clearly. I'm going to put the key back in here and turn this. It completely spins, so it's really hard to do. And then try it again. Right, so we've just spun that. Put this back in here. So we gotta take this thing and we gotta put it in that slot, which is there. Turn the key. Oh, we have dash lights now. Oh, it cranked. That's incredible. But obviously that battery is pretty toast, so let's get a jump starter on it and let's see what happens. Can we do the window down? No, we can't do this window down. Can't do that window down. We've got lights. Oh my god, you can see in my van, we've got some sort of lights. Oh my god. I wonder why this window's not working. Anyway, that's not important right now. Oh my god. Right, let's get something on here. Let's get a battery pack on there and then see if we can start it. Right, we're going to see if I get this multimeter out of the way. If I come along here with my battery pack, my boost pack, one on there, because that battery on the floor, one is not for this car and two is pretty old. That on there. Right, that should be jump start ready now. So let's see, we go back in here. We turn that on. Right, we got ignition. Right, so it cranks, 100% cranks. That's my battery going out. But I don't know, I can't hear I can't hear that fuel pump. So I'm gonna guess that is where our problems lie, the fuel pump. I don't know how to get this open on here. How do you get the Right, okay, so we have crank. We do not have start. Right, so far we know the engine cranks, which doesn't confuse me, because I thought when he said an immobilizer issue, I thought he was an immobilizer on these sort of cars. You splice into the exciter wire that, you know, starts the starter motor. You get that little fob, you put it in, it creates a circuit, you turn the key, it cranks. But we have no fuel. You can't hear the hum of the fuel pump when you turn the key over. You can't hear anything. So we need to figure out why we have zero fuel. Get in to this engine bay, because that is 110% our issue. If we got fuel, I can imagine this would fire straight up. So I need to have a look at, I need to get a fuse box diagram, because the first place to always check is your fuses and your relays. Luckily, I've got my Golf just the other side of this van for a little bit of a reference, and if I need a relay or something, I can just take it off the Golf and put it into this, because these are cars of the same era, same age, so any relays will most likely cross over. So I'm going to check that, and then I will get back on the camera in a minute. I just need to get this fuse box diagram. So now then, I've changed that fuel relay, and of course in typical fashion, it's not worked. So what does that mean now? What does that mean now? That means now that we got to go into the boot, and I will tell you this, I already know that the boot does not hold its own weight. These boots are extremely heavy. I don't know why I got 2 extra keys when I'm pretty sure they all do a separate thing. Oh. This boot, I swear to God, is so heavy and it doesn't hold itself up. But while we're in the boot, it's a good opportunity for me to show you everything that this car actually comes with. So if I put these keys in my pocket, I need to somehow put this on here. Careful not to scrap the active boot system. So here in the boot we have got an empty box. Brilliant. We have got some, these all came with the car, so this is going to save us a lot of money. Brake discs, I'm pretty sure that is a front, but we've got to take all this out now because I need to have a look at the fuel pump. So we've got some brake discs, pretty sure they're the fronts, set of brake pads, fronts, I think. Fronts, and then we've got a, oh, interesting. He might have known about the fuel leak, because this is a fuel leak. This is a thermostat, and the thermostat housing is what's leaking, and this comes with gaskets, so that might have saved us a couple of quid, which is awesome. Gates as well, so not cheap, not expensive. We have a slave cylinder. Obviously this clutch is seized, so a slave cylinder wouldn't go too bad. It could just be the slave. We have got a bag with nothing in it. Oh no, yeah, a bag with nothing in it. That receipt is for electrical contact cleaner. Right, next on the list is a clutch. So we have got a clutch for this car. Sick, that saved us a lot of money. Brake disc covers, backs. I don't know if they're the fronts or the rears. I want to say they're the rears because they look a bit small, but not sure. Brake disc rears, awesome. We have a gas strut. Oh, that's not ideal. So this end here bolts at the top. This end's on a push fit, and that push fit is broken, which will be why the boot isn't holding up on its own. Also, the active spoiler seems to be unplugged. Anyway, we have got in this box more brakes. So we got another set of brake discs and pads, which I'm gonna only assume is gonna be for the rear. We have a Morrison's bag with nothing in it. We have a box with nothing in it. We have a bag with nothing in it. That's not relevant to anything. We have a bit of plastic, which is great for the boot. And now we can finally get into where the fuel pump is. That carpet isn't in the greatest condition, but it's not completely scrap. What have we got in here? Apart from some rubbish. Band-aid. We've actually got the car's toolkit as well. We've got a little antenna. And we actually had the car's toolkit. That is pretty cool, to be fair. Though. Wow. We'll have a look into that. But right there is the fuel pump. So let me reposition the camera, get a screwdriver, and I can explain. So in here, right at the back, we have our fuel pump cover. This is the exact same on the Golf, exact same position. I'm pretty sure the floor plans are very similar on these. So we can get this cover off, and what we're going to do here is we're going to put power to the fuel pump, and we're going to find out whether it's humming or not, because if it hums, it works. That, I know you can't, can you see that? Yeah, you can see how white that is. That looks like a relatively new fuel pump. So that, I've got a feeling this hasn't ran for a while, and somebody's just not been able to figure it out. And I think it could be something to do with that immobilizer. All these clips are broken, so somebody's obviously been in here. That's a new fuel pump. We take this clip off here, which we can figure out which one does what. So we've got ground, pretty sure that end one's a power. Let's get our power probe, start poking some different things, and then see if we can get that going. So we're going to get the power probe, we're going to get the battery, and then we'll be back. Right, we've just put our battery in this boot, so we can put the posi on the positive. Same again for the negative, that's alive. And now, that gives it, remember that, pressing upwards, I'm going to turn that sound off because it's very annoying on the camera. That gives us power, so put power to this. But we also, I forget we need to ground it, which on this little tool is what this one's for. So we can put that on the ground, which to me is quite clearly the far left pin. Right, so we've grounded that far left pin, which is brown on this plug, so it's obviously, oh, I'm on the wrong setting. Right, ready? We're not getting anything. So when I push it on there, it's giving it 8 volts. It's trying, but it's just, I don't think it's got enough current to do all of it. But then again, we also need to sort of figure out why, one, if that fuel pump's working or not, and two, if it is working, why is it not getting power? So that's the two major things we need to figure out. But I'm giving this voltage and nothing's happening. I can hear it trying. It might be because that battery pack isn't really that great. Oh, this battery is not at full capacity, so that might be that. Let me get the jump pack and try it again. If anything's going to put out 12 volts, it's going to be this. So if I can just swap the leads, put that on there, put this one on here, and then boost it. There we go. 14 volts. No? I want to say that this fuel pump. So my mic actually died here. This is basically me just rambling on, saying that I think the fuel pump's dead. So we're going to take it out and we're going to test it externally. So that's what I'm going to do next. So here, we're just working on getting the fuel pump unit out. You can see me here just rotating the rubber pipes that are on the fittings to the fuel pump. You do this because if you don't know when it's last off, the chances are that they're pretty seized on there. So this just breaks away that sort of layer of crust and rubber, so you can pull it off easily without snapping the connections on the fuel pump unit. And now here, there's a ring that goes around and holds this into the fuel tank. Literally just got a little striker bar and I'm tapping it fairly gently just to get that ring off, so we can then remove the fuel pump and the small part unit, and then we can go ahead and test that externally to finally get our answer on whether this fuel pump is good or bad. So now we're here in the back of the van. I've got this connected to my inverter, which outputs 12 volts. And as you can see, I'm not having much luck. So I'm actually going to remove the fuel pump itself out of this thing. It's called a swill pot. And that was just me taking photos of which wire went where, just for future reference. And then a clamp that holds the pipe on. This is the pipe where the fuel goes up to be sent to the engine bay. So I'm just pulling that off, and then I'm going to test it again just in case for any reason that is in there and it's not working. So that's what I'm doing now, and I think we all know the answer at this point. The fuel pump just is bad. It looks old. I know I said it looks new, but it looks old, and I've switched the terminals around just in case it was wired in wrong for any reason, and that was a big thumbs down. So we have here a small bump in the road with this car. Okay, so basically that fuel pump, as you just saw in the last clip, I know there was no audio, my microphone died, but that fuel pump, when you put power to the actual pump, it pulses for half a second and then goes off. Wow, it doesn't even pulse really. It doesn't spray any fluid out of it. It just literally, you can feel the current go into it. It wakes up and then just instantly turns itself off again. So, conclusion is that fuel pump is knackered. We've learnt about this coolant leak, which I'm not going to sort right now because I really can't be arsed. I'm going to order a new thermostat housing because they are plastic, so it could just be the seal and we've got a seal, or it could be the whole housing. Might as well do the housing for how I can imagine how relatively inexpensive this is going to be. I'm just going to order a housing. So there's one or two things here. We've either got extremely lucky, right, and we've got this car very, very cheap on the basis that the previous owner thought it was an immobilizer issue and it's a fuel pump, or the fuel pump's scrap and we've still got another issue on why it won't start. But we know it cranks, which is great. We know the belts have been done, which is great. The oil in it doesn't look too bad, which is great. Obviously we'll end up changing that anyway, but if we made a list of what we need to do, it's going to be pretty long right now. So we've got near side sill, near side outer sill, driver's side footwell, bushes basically everywhere, brakes, but we don't need to spend on brakes, which is excellent. And just a load of miscellaneous stuff really. So I'm going to make a list. Let me know if you think we got this car for a good price. Let me know if you like the car, because I know many people that are told, you know, behind the scenes this, and they're like, no way you've got one of those, and I'm like, yes, this is so cool. So yeah, let me know what you think of the car. Was it the right decision getting rid of the MX-5 for this car? I think it is. If you're in the northwest and you can weld really well, I I'm gonna need them seals done, or else I will just give it a go myself, but it's gonna take so much longer. And then the paint will need to be addressed as well, but we can deal with that when it comes. I need to figure out what's going on with that mileage, because I don't think that's the correct mileage, if I'm honest with you. But we've left the fuel pump out. We can't really go any further until we got a new fuel pump. So I'm gonna get one of those, and then on the next episode, hopefully I'll get a load more parts in, and then we can make way more progress. But if you like the car, like this video, comment, and subscribe to see future videos on this car. I'm over the moon with it because they're just such cool cars. Last time I saw one of these on the road was probably at like a Volkswagen themed sort of car show. I've never seen one of these just cruising around on the street, I don't think, and the fact that I've got one is incredible. But that being said, I'm going to go order some parts and I'll catch you on the next video.